Well, when you say 1,000 horsepower Chevelle, I was not expecting a convertible, but first of all, really nice paint.
Thank you. This is Pro Spray. It's called Speed Red. It's about as vibrant red as you can get.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to do a little twist off of the original SS stripes that everybody sees. So I did kind of a combination of a fade and a metallic and a pearl and a flip-flop pearl and put my little twist on it. So, I mean, it's still, you know, it's still subtle, looks like racing stripes, but it has a little more flash to it.
You pay homage to the original Super Sport thing, and, you know, you go a little over the top, but not too much, and it's just so cool.
I love to push it to that edge, you know?
Yeah, yeah, beautiful interior. TMI seats, yes?
Yeah, this is actually the original interior from the car that's been reskinned with TMI stuff. Really gives it that Pro Touring, you know, custom effect, but yet the nice thing about it is it's a skin kit, you know, new foam and new material really enhances this car tremendously.
Yeah, well, it's got great curb appeal, but you're throwing 1,000 horsepower to the ground. An OE chassis is not designed for that. What's underneath this thing?
Well, one of the things we had to do is upgrade the chassis. It does have a Roadster shop chassis, 4-linked coilovers front and back. Drops the car down about 4.5 inches, so it gives it that nice slammed Pro Touring look, and you know it'll handle the horsepower that we're giving it. You know, and with being a convertible, we had to have a strong chassis.
Yeah, you do that. You do
That's right.
What about brakes?
It does have Willwood brakes all the way around. There again, you know, you can't have 1,000 horsepower and not stop
It's
it.
got to stop.
So you got to have that.
So any car that's more than 40 years old, especially one from the Midwest, there's going to be corrosion. How bad was this?
Well, you know, Midwest cars, they get a lot of rust, and that's one of the things that we're used to working at my shop. And this particular one, you know, we put all new Goodmark quarter panels, doors, fenders, hood, trunk. But one of the things that while you have those panels off, you know, there's always rust behind those panels. So we use a lot of the Eastwood products to clean them up, and that way we know that that rust is sealed up behind where you're putting on new sheet metal. There's nothing worse than putting new sheet metal over rusty old metal.
Well, it's a quick fix. It's a short fix. And what you're talking about is a restoration. You're creating somebody's dream that they want it to last another 40 years. So you have to do that stuff.
That's right.
Thanks to Eastwood, you can, because they've got the products to support all that stuff.
That's correct. And we also, you know, we use the Eastwood welder. You know, we're putting on quarter panels. You know, it's a great little tool that isn't, you know, abundantly expensive, that, you know, even a beginner guy could use that in his garage. We still use that product.
Well, you said Goodmark panels. It's a different gauge metal than the OE metal. So you've got dissimilar gauges of metal that you're working on. The infinite controls and the Eastwood welders, I've got them in my shop. I love them, and I beat the heck out of them too, and they work, and they keep working. So this is a couple years in most guys' shops. How long did this take you?
We actually built this from the ground up, frame off, all the new metal, all the paint, stereo, interior, motor, drivetrain, in just under 4 months.
You're lying to me.
I am not telling you a fib. And then on top of that, built the Corvette, the C7 that's out front, and an F-150 for Ford.
And how many guys in your shop?
That's just me and 3 guys.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, man.
Well, one of the beauties of doing a car like this is that companies like Goodmark have panels available. So you don't have to try to fix every little rust hole and everything else. You just take the whole panel off and replace it. And that is, you know, huge when you're coming into doing this large of a restoration project. You know, if you can just remove that piece and put a new one on it, you know, you're not spending 3 weeks trying to build a piece when you can just replace the skin.
And you know that it's reliable components, especially the guys at Roadster Shop, they don't play. They make beautiful components, and so, you know, now you know you can throw whatever kind of a power level at it and wrap it in a beautiful
Well, and the
car.
beauty of doing like that type of a swap is you're upgrading all the suspension, the brakes, the chassis, I mean, everything all in one pop. You're not having to spend a bunch of time trying to upgrade all of the old components that way.
And it's not some crazy hot rod that's unsafe. It's a balanced vehicle.
That's right.
With a lot of power, and you can steer with the back end.
And you know, we did do weld racing wheels and Continental tires on this, so we know that will also handle the power and put the power down to the ground the way you want it to.
You do a build book.
Yeah.
For every car that you do. I see one sitting here. It's a great idea, not only for customer service, but also for kind of a historical reference. How bad was this thing when you started?
You know, it was the typical Midwest. You know, we deal with it all the time. You know, rust holes everywhere. you know, they need quarter panels, they need rocker panels, they need floor pans, and this was no different, the same kind of a project.
Yeah, a lot of them are gone underneath these moldings here.
Oh, yeah.
Is it solid here?
It was pretty solid on the top, yep.
Yeah.
We joke around that the only original piece that we have is the firewall.
And that little piece around the VIN number,
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, outstanding. What kind of a transmission?
It's a Bowler Performance Turbo 400.
Uh-huh. I like that you kept the,
the original T-handle, yeah.
The T-handle
Well,
is just
we wanted a
classic.
custom console, but the customer that we built this for liked the T-handle look. So
Yeah.
we built a fiberglass piece and utilized the original shifter and shifter plate and just molded the two together.
Yeah, well, it's all there. The accent stitch, everything is there. But let's look under the hood.
Sure.
Show me the money.
Yeah. This is one of the GM 572 crate motors. We threw a ProCharger F1 and Holley's new EFI Terminator system. It's the Terminator that has 4 injectors on it, so we had to bump them up to 225-pound injectors.
Oh my gosh,
but,
where do you even get anything like that?
Well, they offer this as a kit now.
Golly.
So for guys that are doing big horsepower but want a throttle body type setup.
Well, a lot of guys we were talking to the guys at Holley about this at LS Fest, and a lot of people still want the traditional big block or the small block, and they want an intake manifold that looks like a hot rod intake manifold. But EFI sure is nice in the cold day when you go to crack that key.
One of the things that we did do on this to kind of give it a little bit more of a custom feel is the custom bumpers with the LEDs molded in. Gives it a little bit more of a newer style, brings some of the more modern car feel, because we do with a lot of the modern cars, So the LEDs molded in were really cool.
Yeah, the LED lights are a nice touch, and your integrated lights on the bumpers, that's really cool stuff. Now, tell me about the bumper. Now, I like the fact that they're not chrome.
Yes.
What am I seeing here?
The bumpers, believe it or not, the bottom half of the bumper is a 66 Chevelle bumper, cut in half and flipped over and welded to the bottom of the original 70 bumper.
Yeah.
And we just got a new Goodmark steel bumper for it and utilized the other half and welded them together and made kind of a splitter, so to say, out of the steel bumper. So it is a full steel bumper on the car.
Yeah. So do you tell your customers that you really have to shake these things out and you gotta test drive them?
Oh, well, of course. What fun would it be to build this and not be able to go out and play with it?
I'm telling you, man.
Different customers have different things that they do with their cars. Some guys just want show cars. Some guys want to beat on them.
Yeah.
This customer in particular is one that he thinks the gas pedal is an on-off switch. And so we know that he is going to beat on this car. So we tried to upgrade everything for him so that way we knew that it would be the performance that he wanted when he gets it back.
Well, now I know what a 1,000 horsepower Chevelle looks like. Outstanding stuff, man. I can't wait to see what you're going to bring back next year, but I'm hooked on 1,000 horsepower. Let's go look at the van.
Sounds good.
Okay.